Basically, a few things I'm just going to say. If anyone needs to like just go like in the middle of the panel, just put your hand up, someone just leave. It's fine. It's really laid back here. If I look like I'm about to just like really be tired, it's because I pretty much pulled an all-nighter just making sure this was fine. I mean, at the moment I'm currently like I've bypassed the tired state and I'm just like wide awake, so I'm just going to have a few minutes where I just go something. But yeah, if I look like I'm just starting to get a little bit weary, that's why that is. It's not like I hate the fact that I'm here. This panel is pretty interactive. Like anyone who wants to join in, great. Except you three. Now, if you really enjoy it, you can join. Basically, yeah, it's really laid back. It's just a couple of hours just having a laugh about the Japanese language, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you don't, tough shit. Basically, I started doing translation in my free time, or translation of Japanese in my free time, about second to last year at sixth form, and well, first year of sixth form, that would be. But I just I got into a series called Amecon, which is about wrestling and stuff like that, and it has a really wide range of character image, songs, stuff like that, and it was one of those things where I just got curious and thought, oh, what's actually being sort of said, and I just sort of started picking up from there. I've been fairly gifted with languages for my life, so I started doing stuff like that. I pretty much self-taught myself. No, I taught myself. I pretty much self-taught for about 2 years before I started thinking about doing this panel. Basically, I wanted to do a couple of panels with cons just to sort of give a little bit back to the conventions. Like, it's such a thing in a small light in my years, so I might as well bring something to it. And basically, with the way I go about it, an old teacher of mine said, basically one of the wisest things I've heard, basically if you want to learn something and sort of bring it really into your skull and that, try teaching it, and you have then you also try to find out what words are the same, facts on yourself, and that's pretty much it. I've been doing this panel for 2 years now. First started Amecon in 2010. Did an Amecon edition in 2011. I've given this a bit of an overhaul, and as I said, I was doing this all night last night, so there probably are bits in there that are pretty shit. So that's what that is, my pitiful excuse. Pretty much. Before I start, does anyone have any questions? No? Fine. If you do have any questions, I should mention at the start, again, just put your hand up and I'll get to you. I mean, if you just want to go, just put your hand up and just go straight away. If you want to ask a question, just put your hand up and just wait and get to you. I'm doing something slightly different. When I first did the panel, I had this guest song game, and it was pretty much its own thing all together clumped at once. But I found it was sort of making things a bit too segmented, so I've done it now, experimenting with it, that we're basically doing the game for the whole panel, and then it's like we do a bit of information, we do a little bit of learning about it, we relate it back to the song, and we just do some of the prizes for that. Well, I say prizes, I should have brought some with me. Basically, the rules are, again, we can do this a couple of ways. It's very laid back because I've done it a couple of different ways with people. These were the rules I originally came up with. 2 teams of players. Remember, if the team can guess the language from the kanji, you learn 5 points. If they can guess it from the romaji, which is basically Japanese and Roman letters, so stuff like that. Yeah. They get 2 points. If they can guess it from the English, they only get 1 point, because obviously, for some songs, it gives it away. We can do it any other way you want. If people want to get up and sort of do it, that's fine. You can have some volunteers and they can sort of, you can come back to them each time. Or if you don't want to sort of come up and do it, we can just I can just do it and just have anyone guess from the audience, and we can just do it like that. It's pretty much all down to whatever you guys want. Here's the example. So basically that will go up first. Then, I mean, this is a really easy one, but basically the Roman letters, and then basically I put the English after it, and usually, unless it's really English, I play English afterwards in case there are teams that get from that. So obviously this is
Life is like a hurricane here.
some basic stuff. Basic verb order. Japanese is a language that goes from slightly different from what some like our language is. So, for instance, way round. Basically, you have what's called SOV, which is subject, object, and verb. And that's basically how Japanese is. Basically, the subject does something, and the object is in between, and then the verb is what's at the end. So, for instance, burning the toast, in English that would be I, which is the subject, verb is burn, and then toast would be the object. So we have subject, verb, and object. Whereas Japanese is basically like more along the lines of I toast burn. There are a couple of differences with verbs. The very basic stuff is stuff like moeru, which is just basically like to burn. Moeteru, that's what we call the gerund, which basically called a te form. That basically means like sort of present tense, stuff like that. So toast ga moeteru, the toast is burning. And moeru toast, that is basically like the toast which is burning. Kind of confusing if you sort of don't get it straight away, I understand. But I'll try and see if there's some examples that might help with that. I'll use this. Yep, done that. So this is Ray, you obviously know where this is from. It should do.
I should, but my mind has not went because
G Gundam?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Here's another example. There's a catchphrase in G Gundam, which is a sort of like hot-blooded series. It says for instance, well, on there it's basically Konotega Sakende, which is basically this hand of mine is shining. And that is against, say, for instance, Konotega Sahiru, which means this hand of mine will shine, as opposed to the last one, which is Konotega Kagayaki Sahiru, which basically that's part of Japanese where you can sort of link words together with a tape, and you add another word, and that's basically I said this run, or I ran said this. It's basically linking verbs together. That's the boring stuff out of the way, pretty much. So our first game. Anyone want to take a guess at which language that is? Obviously what the song language is. go, I think it's Japanese. No.
Well, it's Dutch.
No, it's Russian. What?
Is it Japanese?
Okay. Ray thinks it's Japanese. He's right, that's 5. Anyone else want to guess? I'm looking at you. Okay, we'll do women there, see if I say something. Everyone pretty much just wanted to get on with it. Okay. Here's the English. And here's the actual song itself. If the audio is that song is from a particular scene in Dragon Ball Z. It's one of the sort of pivotal scenes. Later, if I finish this with time to spare, I will actually sort of just have a little fun because I've got the actual clip trying to say I fan subbed it myself. And we can have a look at that. So, another one. This is actually that was what I meant to ask. Anyone in here actually go to the opening ceremony? See a little bit. Who are the guests this year? Is it just Brad Swill and Kemi Solomon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just them? Okay. This will be slightly topical, so I'm going to do Brad Swill. Slightly giving it away, I think, but... Anyone want to guess? Still nothing? Okay. It's the English. And here's the song itself. Pretty disappointed that we've got some missing. This starts to lead us onto our first topic of discussion. Anyone want to guess? Japanese or English? And if you want as well, you can sort of say why you're having to guess it, why it might be as well. I think I can hear the sounds of some cogs. Some people actually kind of know some Kana and who are kind of just going, I think I know what that means.
But I don't know what.
I have actually been toying with let's see, about getting something put in the con book to sort of help this panel.
Sorry, reading
Okay, I'll put into this will give it away slightly more, I think, but yeah, I think people are finally getting it out. Yes, I'm cheesy. It's not English. I'm cheesy. It's a rule. You've got to have it. Guess this one. Whatever it is, it's really repetitive.
The opening from Lucky Star.
I I would have thought Will would have guessed that. Actually, no, you wouldn't.
I'm trying to think of repetitive songs. That's what came to mind.
Yeah.
My head. Is it my Oreno? Head of face. Oh,
What are you looking for?
Is Oreno my eyes? Am I getting what? Boku. And
I can see why you're thinking that.
it's getting the
Looking
wrong
at
side.
that.
You completely undone.
Yeah, I can see where you're getting that from.
Something about a tree.
Oh,
And love.
nice.
And love. That coin?
Wait a second.
Something low key need coin? No? Yeah.
Yes, actually, you're doing quite well, actually.
I still have no idea what it is.
Then we'll just go.
I
Okay.
don't know
That's quite interesting. Haven't had too many people who can sort of read it straight away. You have got this. You have got that right. There's the kanji for tree in there, and there's the kanji for love, I. Basically, the song is, and you're gonna hate me for doing this, but they're gonna hate me more because I haven't hit I don't know what people hate me more for. The fact that I'm being a nasty bastard and putting in songs that aren't in Japanese or English, or the fact that I didn't use the right band. However, this leads us on to basically, those two songs in Japanese are renowned for what we call the phenomenon of Sora Mimi, as opposed to Sora and Mimi. Basically, they're both, Mond Green and Sora Mimi are both the same idea. And Mond Green is basically when you mishear something and it comes out as something else. So, basically, it comes from, I think it's a hymn or a poem, and it's basically and laid him on green. But the person who sort of came up with the idea of Mond Green heard it as and Lady Mond Green. And Lady Mond Green. It's basically mishearing something, and there are like other famous examples. Like there's the Jimi Hendrix song "Excuse Me While I Kiss the Sky," and "Excuse me while I kiss this guy." And the other one is this one's a fairly famous joke. "Gladly the Cross-Eyed Bear." It's from a hymn, and it basically is the same sound as "Gladly the Cross-Eyed Bear," but it's an I-D and the bears and bear and the cross. And whereas it came out as "Gladly the Cross-Eyed Bear," like, and I thought all this time it was just some little teddy bear called Gladly. Going around like thieves. Sora Mimi is basically the same thing. The actual word comes from Sora or sky or void, basically, or vacant. And Mimi is basically ears or hearing. So it's just basically mishearing something. But it has actually been used intentionally. There's a game show called Sora Mimi Hour, where you get stuff like basically some stand-up comedian in Japan basically sort of takes people through. They sort of listen to songs, usually not in Japanese, usually not in English or something, and they'll come up with lyrics that they mishear. So we have the Beatles' "I wanna hold your hand." It comes out as "Ahona on your hand," which basically comes out as foolish public urination. On your hand is basically like the legal or sort of official term for public urination. And Enter Sandman, which I'm appreciating because of wrestling connections. Till the Sandman comes, "Chiyose me ni iko," or basically, "Let's go to Chiyo Insurance."
Not by Cherry Insurance.
Yeah, of course. as I said, the two songs I just did earlier, they are examples of Soranumi as well. The Dragos Javan Te, which is the Numa song, that was used in, I think it was an albino black sheep thing they had. Yeah, it is. And we had it. And it's just very savage. Let me go back. Should I just go back and read it? Let's see. Very savage that no man in my ear. And that basically means that you want to leave, but you won't take me. However, this comes out as Besa Beshka Noma Noma Ye. Or basically, Beshu is like rice wine, and Be is like rice, so it's like, it's rice, wine, drink it, yay! And I think anyone who knows like Star will kind of get the balsamic thing, like will you Tsukasa with the balsamic the caramel dancing, the line goes Dansamidos, clapera henda, and it comes out in Japanese as Samikos yappa irahende, or basically it's like using Kansai dialect and going like, you know, I really don't like this balsamic vinegar after all. And interestingly enough, there is actually another thing that Soranumi has been used for. It's been used for a song. Yes, I have to explain an intro here. A friend of mine who's in the audience at the moment can't stand this song. That's not the pirate speaking serious.
I'll have my revenge.
And maybe. Go that way. Puns. Basically, it's only just a sort of puns, like loads, like shows like that's really based on like loads of Japanese puns and stuff like that, and so that's why some of the jokes don't really come across in English. There is one from this one, Mushi or Mushi. That comes actually from a fairly old episode of Pokemon. Kasumi, or Misty, she's freaking out over like Caterpie, just going like Mushi. And then Ash comes up in the cow costume going Mushi. Mushi is basically like a bug or a worm, and Ushi is a cow. And actually, the dub actually handles it quite well. They said like maybe it's a cow therapy. So it's the same sort of really shit puns. The other one here, Mandarin and Mandolin. This basically comes from Soul Eater, and basically there's a character called what's his name? Something Joe, and he like is obsessed with coffee, and he's having drinking the floor of death. And he's going like, oh, the coffee of Mandolin. The death just goes Mandolin. It's just one of those cases of just like mishearing things, basically. And a bit that everyone's loving to see. This one's a pretty stable feature of Japan. It's writing in Japanese, basically. Basically, just want to learn how to do it. Anyone want to take a guess at what's actually being said there? Not in English. No, actually not else. No, have a go at guessing either way. What?
Is it Kisama or Kisama Yatsu?
Not even close enough, right? That's basically Katamare, which is basically it can be translated so many ways, but like seeing as it's been able to put this fuck you. And
That's true. There's quite a great deal of voting. It's very angry. It's angry that fuck off kind of swearing, you know. People say, ha!
oh yeah, excuse the audio glitches on my laptop. It's just a pile of crap. So sometimes the audio will just
They really go, ha! You're only doing that because of a lack in your own vocabulary. But this is nonsense. You show me the English equivalent for fuck off and I'll happily use it. It certainly isn't go away. Go away, exclamation mark. Go away. It doesn't have the same balls, does it? Fuck off! Ooh. And fuck off is so international, you know. Could you open your bag? Fuck off. Oh, what? I love it, a double thing. Fuck.
It's a slightly close.
And they all understand, no matter where you are, you, fuck off. You. And it's the atmosphere, that's why you never read fuck off, he hinted. Because it creates its own atmosphere, doesn't it? And it's that. I love it. And nobody knows where it all came from. Where those words came from. I think it was St. Paul on the road to Damascus. Fucking hell! What was that? What do you think he said? Gosh! Oh, cripes!
Yeah, that's why I have to put up with it.
Hey, what's your game? Did you have to barbecue my fucking donkey? Just, you strike a harp.
I can see now. Start again. As you can see from the list, there are some of them that don't actually mean as much of the sort of added oomph they get from like translations that they are. I mean, Kuso, admittedly, Kuso is actually a harder case to sort of say anything about. Kuso literally does mean shit, or like crap, basically fecal matter. But it's used so frequently in sort of anime with a certain demographic that it's really hard to sort of justify using shit every single time. Stuff like Sama, that basically just means like it's a really really contempt-filled way of sort of referring to someone. Usually gets translated to stuff like you bastard and stuff like that. Actually, I think the next hand was full of like what I personally translate them as. Yeah. These are usually like how I prefer to sort of translate certain things. But depending on the context, they're all dependent on sort of like how frequently they're used, what the context of the situation is. Shimata, that's pretty tame. Quite literally just means like shimao is a verb to sort of like do something and it can't be sort of taken back. It's accidentally do something. So basically shimata should be oh now that's done it sort of thing. But it has the same sort of connotation of oh no, oh hell. Chickshaw, that's with like damn it, damn you. I think it was like, literally said beast or something. So as I said, literally means shit. But the amount of times people use it, like even here like kids using it in that way, so it's sort of hard to justify like having a Naruto going around going shit. So I usually try and turn it down to like damn crap. Basically, the usual criteria I go with for translating swear words is if it's particularly like a very popular show or very obviously a kid show or shonen show, I try and keep it to stuff that is likely to be said before the water sheds. So like, and I've heard stuff on like ITV said before like 7 o'clock, like bitch, hell, damn, stuff like that. So that I usually let through. Usually stuff like yaro. Yaro is very common, so saying like "kono yaro," which is like you jerk, you freak. Or I sometimes use asshole, but I rarely use bastard because it really depends on sort of like who's saying it to who. Like if you've got like a yakuza guy going like "kono yaro," that kind of makes me more sense. You can go like you little bastard. Sokurai literally means to eat shit, telling someone to eat shit. Because again, it's kind of hard to sort of justify. I kind of put this bite me somewhere. Bite me. Kusotare. Kusotare basically means tare, the T-T-A-R-E. That actually means basically like sort of hanging off, like quite literally like shit is hanging off you. And it's interesting because I hate to keep going back to Dragon Ball Z, but this is like where a lot of my examples come from. Near the end of the series of Z, Goku was facing like a little child fighter. He's sort of trying to get him riled up and sort of get him to be angry, who knows, for potential. He sort of says, like, which is like, your parents are poop pants or something. It's literally like, unko is a very, very childish way of saying bullshit. Kutabare is the one that's like the most hard to sort of, you can have the most fun like finding something that's right. Kutabare is basically the imperative form of kutaru, which literally means to drop dead. Like drop dead from exhaustion and just die. And so drop dead I usually use, you can have a connotation of like saying like go to hell or rot in hell, to hell with you. If you're using it with like a lot of delinquent characters like Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho, they use it. It's got sort of the meaning of like up yours, like sticking it to the man sort of thing. Screw you. And I said usually if it's I don't know like a series like Black Lagoon or something, then you have a bit more sort of leeway to sort of translate it as like fuck you and stuff like that. It's like I was listening to a podcast a while ago between Scott McNeil and Trevor Duvall. They're both Ocean voice actors, and they were saying about how Black Lagoon was such a fun thing to do because of course as Scott put it, like, you could use words in the forbidden word world. So we are now getting is that the F-bomb? Don't drop the F-bomb! Stuff like that. Here's an example of...
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I've got a question. Some things I've watched have may after a name to mean like damn you or curse you.
Yeah.
What's that literally? Is it just
Sorry?
something like you'll say something like Ashley May to say damn you Ashley or something like that? How's that working? It wasn't listed on the list.
Oh, okay.
Sort of say after a name or like.
Wasn't on this list.
No, that's all.
I'd have to probably hear what exactly was said to sort of.
It's sort of if somebody annoys you, you'll say something like somebody's name then May after it. And I don't know. I think it's ME or something as a suffix.
Oh, Teme.
Yeah, it might be a short version of that.
T-E-M-E.
Possibly, yes.
That is basically another really sort of vulgar and like contempt-filled way of saying you.
Okay.
And it actually came from Temai, which is like very archaic Japanese, and it sort of mutated into something like a very vulgar thing to say. Like you're talking sort of like yakuza sort of guys who like really don't give a shit. Like, Tim is yeah, you little fuck, I'll kill you. So, this is an example of my work. Again, some of the stuff I was saying about interactive stuff, some of the clips I've translated for this panel. If people want to sort of get up and have a little, you can watch it first and then people can come up and sort of have a bit of fun dubbing to it. Because I want to sort of also bring in a bit of how translation of Japanese is very important to stuff like dubs and basically sort of getting across certain people's characters. So we'll just watch it first off. If no one wants to get up and do it, I'll just do this clip myself. It's the thing! Interestingly, we generally see this first and then the legs. It's like my head! Let's just check it out, you can see the actual subtitles, right? That's not animation, that's actually I will apologise straight straight away that a lot of my clips that have actually been finished are all from like Dragon Ball Z. Before I could actually finish some of my other series, finish the actual videos of my trial, I don't have the money to buy them.
Power を気にしすぎてビナはついていってない。ミスをセル自身があいつ逆上している。
Yeah, nobody ate before they came here today because this scene gets early. And also, perfect derby face there.
まだだ。なんだ。線の様子が変わったぞ。まさか。
So just say he's pregnant.
Breast implant.
思った通り。
Suppose you could say what he's about to do is give him
安
birth.
全帯ではいられなくなる。
一体どういうことです？
Now, I must apologise for the blue font. He didn't come up as bright as I wanted him.
18号だ。18号8出した。あ、線に飲み込まれた人造人間だ。
これまでだ。
18号を吐き出し線の完全体は崩壊していくのか、それとも
So basically, I chose that book because obviously it has some more swear words in there, like they have Chiksho, Babe, Kusama. As I said, I wanted to sort of do a couple of these clips to sort of show how you need a good translator and someone who sort of knows what they're doing with the language to really sort of get across some of the things and see it. Like, if you've got somebody who just like does cut and paste and just goes, this word means this and this word is, it can come across as kind of flat and sort of you don't get much character from it, which in Japanese language you do get a lot of character in some of the things people say. So I'll do the acting on this one myself, just so you can get an idea. I will probably use my voice on this one. Can't lose the impact without the sound effects on it. You little! Self-focusing too much on power is bad kind of all. Yeah, well, this mistake he told me about himself, and yet the guy's going into a frenzy. Yeah, I ham it up. I chew the scenery like a... That's becoming a screenshot, so. I'm not done. What's this? Social appearance has changed. It couldn't be. So that was it. Sal's cheese gone on a real sharp decline. Just as I thought. You won't be able to stay in this complete form anymore. Just what are you saying, sir? Nuts! That's number 18. He just coughed up number 18. That's the man-made being that was swallowed up by Cell. He's as far as it goes. By coughing up number 18, could Cell's complete form be going through a complete breakdown? Or else, possibly... I'm gonna feel that tomorrow, I think. Especially if I start doing the Randy Savage voice of the, what the lines anyway.
I think you should do that nice technique where we all need to ring in
What's that?
sick. Next time you need to ring in sick at work, you can do it.
So basically, I establish a difference between swear words and sort of how to translate. Basically, you've got stuff like the demographic of your series, so like stuff like DBZ, Naruto, One Piece, stuff like that. They're all from Shonen Jump, and that demographic is more in the lines of young boys, teenage at most. At least the target demographic is. So it's kind of hard to say, oh yeah, we'll just put in shit every other time, or fuck you. Whereas some of the stuff you can get away with, like on, as I said, on pre-watershed, like damn, or like really hard ones like bitch. You can sort of get away with that because you have that sort of leeway going, well, if it's set for a time that most people could be watching anyways. But there are certain times where you can sort of let it go, like context of character, what situation they're in. If they're about to face a death situation, they're not going to like say, oh bugger or something. They'll go, oh shit, oh fuck, sort of thing. So, for instance, going back to DBZ again, I do apologise. I will have more like actual clips next year, I promise. There's a scene where he's basically sort of like, he's just realised he's done, like nothing else he can do, and he says, before he unleashes like a fire of energy, he just goes, suck! usually I translate as, but in that situation I sort of say, well, in that situation, yeah, I would say you just go, shit! Sort of thing. So again, context of situation, similar things. And also, as a translator, you sort of have to go, do you think it feels like a situation where it does need to be said? Like, do you think they always need to be saying shit? Because sometimes it can devalue the word. Like, if you hear it too many times, you just go, oh. That's just basically my alarm going off just to make sure I know what time we're working on. Because there's a panel straight after this, so I want to make sure I'm not overgoing anything. So basically, like, if you hear the word too many times, it can lose some of its meaning. And sort of it loses the strength. Like, if you find a character who like, I don't know, straight-laced or something, and they suddenly say a swear word, it has that more impact. But if everyone else is just saying, like, here, left, right, and centre, it kind of loses that extra oomph that word has, which is a lot of what Japanese is about. The words themselves aren't exactly what are the offensive bits. It's more about the situation and why they're saying it. Like, it's a case of whether or not they think like lowly of the person, or whether they think no, it's stuff like that. I think it's a song around now, yeah. Oh, no, here's an example. There's a bit of swearing in the song, cover the children's ears. Anyone want to take a guess what song this is? Or what language it is? I think some people know what I'm doing. It will be a little bit more obvious when I do the English side.
Sing it again.
Yeah. Kind of, my voice is going today. Kind of a few clues in there. I can't change the ego. Hey, does anyone have an idea?
She can sing it.
You know what it is, don't you? Do you want to guess what it is?
She doesn't know the name, she can only sing it. Yeah, I don't know the name of the song. I'm ashamed.
Well, do you know who the artist is, at least? No. Well, I think this is what I'm going to have to tell you. When I do the song, sometimes I have to change the lyrics just so yeah, that was English. Oh, this is a staple song that tends to come. Ray, you might be. Somebody knows what that means. Yes, it is. This makes a lot more sense if you know what those two words mean. Well, here we go. This was actually from a kids' show. Obviously it got edited out. Formality. Another case I wanted to talk about. Basically, formality is another way that a translator can sort of bring across a person's character. There's a certain style of speaking. It's called Keigo, which is polite speech, and it uses stuff like mas, arigato gozaimasu, koku wa ai de arimasu. Here is an example, and I'm going to play this one through, and I'm just going to quickly nip out to do something while it's playing. Just while that's playing, we're just going to nip out. We're back.
やってくれましたね、皆さん。よく私のプロ棋士への夢を見事に打ち砕いてくれました。ギーニュー特戦隊の反応がありませんね。 あなたたちが殺したんですか？本当にこのおバカさんたちは覚悟はできているんでしょうね。それにしてもあと一息のところでドラゴンボールが石になってしまうとは。ベジータさんには残念でしたが、私にはもっとでしょうか。初めてですよ、この私をここまでコケにしたおバカさんたちは。まさかこんな結果になろうとは思いませんでした。許さん。絶対に許さんぞ、虫けらども。じわじわとなど殺しにしてくれる。一人たりとも皆さん覚悟しろ。
本性を表しやがったな。やってみやがれ。今の俺がそう簡単に倒せると思ったら大間違いだぞ。
何を言い出すかと思えば、どうやら私の恐ろしさを忘れてしまったようです。思い出させてやる。
So, there was a hidden meaning for me leaving the room. I didn't want to sort of give away anything because I wanted to actually check if anyone was sort of getting anything from the subtitles. Partly because it reflects on me as a translator as well. Could anyone tell who was supposed to be using polite language at least at some point? What? Yep. He starts off. Frieza as a character, he actually tends to use polite speech sort of ironically. He sort of puts on this facade. Oh, my little gentleman, you're so. Ha ha ha, nothing affects me. And as you saw, he just goes, oh, you fucking little maggots! He sort of has that, he sort of uses it as almost like a put down, like, oh, my little gentleman, you know nothing. If anyone wants to go through that, we can. Any volunteers at all? Anyone wants to do it? That's fine, we can just move on. Here's another example. Again, it's Frieza, but it shows what he's more like when he's not sort of putting any pretense. Also shows some talk from somebody who has more of a hip accent. Who's good.
爆発までもう時間がない。貴様の宇宙船の場所まで行くゆとりはない。そして俺の乗ってきた宇宙船はベジータが壊してしまう。サイヤ人は
はやはり猿野郎だね。貴様はこの星から脱出することができない。この星と共に滅ぶのだ。皮肉だな。勝負に勝った貴様は死んで、俺は助かるんだ。このフリーダ様にエネルギーを分け与えるなんて生意気なことをするからだ。俺も生きてみせる。ダメだ。なんだと。やめだとはどういうことだ。今の怯え始めた貴様を倒しても意味はねえ。ショックを受けたまま生き続けるがいい。ひっそりとな。
Yeah, the episode itself sort of like just put in loads of filler and did the siege once.
どういうことだ。貴様は 100% のパワーを使った反動でピークを過ぎ木がどんどん減っている。これ以上戦っても無駄だと俺は思い始めた。もう俺の気は済んだ。貴様のプライドはすでにズタズタだ。この世で誰も超えるはずのない自分を超えるものが現れてしまったのだからな。しかもそいつはたかがファイヤー人だった。今の怯え始めた貴様を倒しても意味はねえ。ショックを受けたのは生き続けるがいい。ひっそりとな。いついつなんだ。宇宙の帝王フリーダなんだ。貴様は昨夜後の貴様はこの俺の手によって死ななければならない。俺に殺されるべきなんだ。
For some reason, after you're talking about that side, like, on something serious, like, it's fucking good scene. So as I said, you sort of see how the sort of, there's a little difference now. Like, there's a difference between sort of like being formal and sort of then just using the pretense and just going like, oh, I'm the best ever. As I said, there's actually also a bit of hick speak in Goku as a character actually speaks a bit like a hick. So, I'm Son Goku and I've come from the movies. I'll just actually go through and sort of act it out just to sort of form my voice. You know, there's no time left before the explosion. Come in, leave your spaceship. And then spaceship our future review. Well, Vegeta when we that. You science really are just little monkey bricks after all. You're not even capable of escaping from this planet. No, you're to perish right alongside this planet. Isn't this just ironic? You, the wretch who won our bout, you die, and me, well, I'm spared. And it's because you perform this conceited an act as to give a share of your energy to me, the great Lord Frieza. I will live, you see, if I don't. It's quits now. What was that? It's quits? What the hell are you talking about? Even if I beat you, there ain't any point now when you start to be scaring me. You're best off carrying on as you are now, living with the shock you've taken all hush hush. It's a monkey prick! It's quits now. What was that? What the hell are you talking about? With the backlash from you having used your power 100%, you're past your peak and your cheese flat out plummeting. You start to think that even if I fight you anymore, it'd be meaningless. Hell, I've had my fill. A damn pride of yours is so in shreds. And it's all because someone showed up who could surpass you. The one who should be without anyone able to surpass me this time. And on top of that, the guy, he's just a lily sand at best. Even if I beat you, there ain't any point now when you start to be scared. You're best carrying on as you are now, living with the shock of taking the hush hush. I'm number one in the universe. Number one! Emperor of the universe! Emperor Frieza! Therefore, you son of a bitch, you little monkey prick son of a bitch, you must die at the hand of your brother, I Frieza! And so you're meant to be killed by me, you're not scared! Why you do this? So I come from the translation, I mean it's partly bias on my part, but I come from the translation aspect, there's also a bit of an actor as well, as you saw from me chewing the scenery just I'm on the side of like dubs and that. I like the idea that a good translation can make a dub good, but it gives the actors something that they can read the lines and then know how it's supposed to go. I think on this. Oh, this is actually for a friend. She also likes wrestling, and I'm a big wrestling nut. But anyone want to take a guess at that? You do realise, even if you see the stuff like Johnny Cash in there, that doesn't mean it can be necessarily English. The Japanese love putting in random English. Okay. This is basically, I sort of did this as a little shout out to a friend of mine. So on the camera, hello Faison, this is for you.
Sorry about your damn luck. Greek swimming, moonshine sipping, beer skimming, beer drinking, Johnny Cash listening.
I did that actually as a sort of, you can see a few of the things of Hick speak actually. One major thing from Hick speak is actually, they use ora instead of ore, so it's more slurred, that's what you can say. So like, ore, ora. You sort of, it just gives that sort of, like, you know it's somebody from the Boonies sort of thing. Ome is another one. A bit like ore and ora. Usually it's omae, O-M-A-E, but in sort of more Hickish speak it sort of slurs into ome. So it's sort of like saying like yer instead of your, or ya instead of you sort of thing. Stuff with those slurring contractions. Let's lead on to our next topic. Anyone want to take a guess? Will somebody be able to? Oh, no fair. You actually know what you're talking about.
She's Japanese. She knows what it is.
So I don't think she actually knows this song.
I don't know the song.
Do you think you'll die tomorrow?
What's that? Which one are you looking at? What, this one?
If I told you the ground will shake. The second line is, if I talk to you, the ground will shake. If I think of you, morning will become night. If I touch you,
皆様が知る。俺がしゃべれば大地が震え出す。俺が思えば朝が夜になる。俺が触れば光が光り出す。Basically, these, you see obviously there's a slight pattern here. There's arukeba, shabereba, omoeba, saureba. That's all in what we would call, I think it's the provisional tense. Basically it's a way of saying if. Ba is basically sort of if. This one shows another way of saying if, which is the next topic. This is sort of saying conditions and providing. Anyone want to take a guess?
It's the tara. Zoku ga amatara.
Was that?
The second line?
Yep, Zoku ga amatara. Again, when I show you the actual song, you're going to hate me again. So. For so many reasons as well. Another use of the air bath as well. something. This is what I was going to. There's Tara and Tara here. There's another type of condition. That is actually called the conditional tense as opposed to the bar, which is provisional. I'll get into that when we get onto the topic. Anyone want to take a guess at the song? You're gonna hate me. Here we go. This is Dave, by the way. Yes, I know. I thought, I won't use it in the original language, that's too much. Is that? Yeah. That's the Danish version of it, Chipolachan. So basically, ways to say it. Ba, ta, na. Ba, teke, ba, areke, ba. That's what we call the provisional. Tara, so stuff like itara, or just tara. Bakatara, conditional. Basically, the difference between the two, provisional and conditional, it's pretty much just in the words. If you say something like in the provisional, it's basically something will happen provided something happens. So, provided it rains, it will be a shitty day. Whereas the conditional basically means like some condition of something like if you give me such and such, I will do this. It's the condition. I tend to translate often sometimes when it's Tara, I usually translate to sort of once, because that also sort of makes it really easy to sort of, once you've done this, something will happen. Now that's just a basic sort of if. Now that's sort of like in the way of saying like, if this were true, or if this were to happen. So it's all, again, it's all nuance. It's Japanese is a very nuance based language, so a lot of it will depend on sort of context and that. Back to what the song is. You're gonna hate me again. Anyone want to try? Make me feel so lonely just talking. So we just say it was Harry Ho.
Fine and Sam.
Yes.
Fine and Sam.
You just want to
Show
audience.
You
are all going to hate me, buddy. I mean, just making them have to listen to something. On the right side, I'm giving you at least something with nostalgia. You're picking up, which is great. This is slightly leading on to, it's sort of still in the realms of like if something happens, but it's got its own sort of topic because I only really just sort of picked up the this form of speaking. A lot of it's to do with like contracting words and sort of so it's basically the stuff like the cha, gambara nakacha. I've only really sort of come to grips with this myself, so I'm still learning basically. It's along the lines of it omits a certain word. Usually it would be something along the lines of gambara nakacha naranai, and that's sort of, it has this meaning of sort of if something happens or else sort of thing. But before we get to that, anyone want to have a guess?
Not Captain Planet.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, basically, sort of warrior, soldier. Sort of, I usually translate as warrior, but sometimes I'll do a soldier for certain things. I'll play it in English because that's Somebody remember what that's from?
Is it one of the series of Slayers?
Was it?
Is it the Slayers? One of the series
On that same sort of timeline. I don't feel so bad for saying I know what this is. This is Sailor Moon.
That's not the only one of mine.
Was that?
I only know the original opening.
Yeah. This was from the Black Moon sort of episodes. There's a big showdown between the sort of Sailor soldiers and their sort of evil counterparts from the Black Moon clan. And this is the insert soldiers. And it's called Aino Senshi, Soldier of Love. Oh, this one. Yes. I'm usually here going like, no one knows what to do. Oh no, this guy knows what he's talking about. Right, so, tewa, cha, nakereba nanai. It all comes from, tewa is basically sort of like, has this if sort of thing going. Like, if you say, what's the one that I read it as? There was a phrase that I used from the phrase book, and it was hara ga hatte wa ikusa ga dekinu, which basically is sort of saying that you can't fight them to start, which is quite literally. If your stomach's empty, the battle is unable, or you're unable to be done. And this tewa thing, basically it has a sense of urgency or else it has this sort of meaning of something bad is going to be the result of it. And usually, if something's being said just like tewa on its own, usually it's implied that naranai would have been used. And that sort of has this meaning of it's got to be done. It's this sort of urgency, this sort of imperative to it. So, as I said, usually I see it as cha, because it's just contracted. It's just tewa is just literally just cha smushed together, and it's got this sort of we've got to do this, we've got to do that sort of thing. Nakereba naranai, that's a lot more formal. And actually, in the clip I showed you with Freezer, he does say nakereba naranai because it's getting more formal. He says, kono ore no te ni yotte shinanakereba naranai. So you must die at the hand of me, your betters. So it has this. It is hard to translate when you're sort of doing it when it's such a long line, and all it really means is sort of like you must do this. So it's kind of hard if you just have this one line. Like I said, I have to sort of use all these different words to hedge it out a bit. The other word for sort of like having something to do with like urgency and must is Becky. And that comes after like words like it comes after a verb like osoru. It's like osorubeki. Osorubeki is like something that should be feared. Basically, Becky just means like it's a should. It should be done. As opposed to like provisional or like should this happen. It's more the case of you should, you ought to do this. Anyone take a guess? Okay, you're going to hate you for this one, I think I go into this panel trying to see how many people I can piss off. Like, just me coming in with fucking trophies. Here goes. Rick Roll of would have been better if I actually just like made the video. I'm actually waiting for this song to have some significance this weekend. Yeah. I always put this song whenever I go to Amecon. I always use this song.
It's very long time.
Yeah.
Why is the rain? I can't read this now.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Today to the rain.
Allora, queste proprio erano senza mavette, il canale. No, that's actually that's a nice idea actually. I like it. That's good. It's actually one of my favourite songs actually from the series that I'm thinking of. Sorry?
It has to be Japanese, English translation is a bit strange.
It is one of those things where I have to sort of like work it around with some of the context of it.
It's insane.
When I do songs, I try and have like a verse that the same way I try and make them more. So it always starts with
What's that actually from then?
that's from my book. One of my favourite. I always keep saying Full Metal Brother. That's the way I put it. Just Full Metal Brother. Hey. Well, as Will was to put it, FML.
Is that FMA? Yeah.
Oh no. Another troll one coming on. I need to.
Boys have what they love.
I'm actually quite pleased with some of the people in there, like actually trying to sort of justify it. I'm not sure.
I can recognize the handle, I'm like, I have no idea how that.
Well, the thing is, you've got to practice to actually sort of get it. So. What's wrong with it? And here I go. I love doing this one every con. The reaction is always the same. So I think I've done that every frigging con. I've done that one every time I've done this panel. The reaction is always the same.
Something about a king, Neptune,
Yep.
Neptune man,
Yep, Neptune.
Ellie,
Elite.
Yeah,
Bride.
yeah. Although that actually is an instance of what we call furigana. Furigana is basically when you have a a word that's like, I don't know, kanji or something, and you can either put furigana in there to sort of show how it's pronounced, or you can actually use it to sort of give it a different pronunciation. So that word is actually hoko, which basically just means pride, glory. But if the songwriter wanted the singer to actually sing pride, they might put in hoko, then put furigana, which is like little stuff just above it. You see that little tiny kana above the kanji, and that's furigana, and they can have it like that.
If you stand Mount Fuji Power.
Yeah, that line was hard to fucking translate. Oh, there's no example of it. The actual word there is fukumen, and the songwriter wanted it to be mask, so.
Can see mask.
You don't know?
Big something.
Oh, you're doing something else. That's at least something bringing me into what I want to do.
Scooter.
Yep. Because I'm surprised no one's really sort of gets out of it. I've already said I'm a wrestling fan. This is one of the songs from Amecon that I sort of started with. It's actually pretty young, like the fun songs. So that's just it.
Talking about fire, wind, water, fire.
Yes! Have you seen the fucking planet?
Ground fire.
You can't answer anymore.
Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Captain Planet!
I see, they obviously like me now. Big giveaway, seeing
Some
something.
Dragon Ball.
Bloody thing all day. But this one actually will surprise you somewhat. Many of you are thinking, oh, it's going to be Japanese, it's going to be not. It might be. This is English.
Let's fly, fly, fly like a machine. Up the mountain, down the ocean blue. Let's fly, fly, fly,
I always do this.
fly to the rainbow, fly towards the sun. I'm gonna get the beam, I'm gonna get the beam. Dinosaurs named the
I should read it out as it was in the
I'm gonna get my chance, I'm gonna get close.
You know the magic of being Dragon Ball.
Follow me to my adventure. Let's explore right now.
Ah, you were interested in one last night. It's slightly easier. They just show you how Japanese English just gets weird. Oh, are you talking about this one?
Yeah.
She was sick. She was so.
When you look at that, right?
The very first one, the fourth line. That one, yes.
That's Shiawase. That's Miss Cadmus. I love the song for how fucking English it is. I've given away it is Japanese, but I love how English this one is.
Fire so bright love, fire so bright love, 走り出せ Whoa, whoa, whoa. Fire so bright love, fire so bright love, 幸せ求めて I love this.
It's good I know I'm saying one song actually. This is set, as was Cinema's set. However, going back to the whole Solomini, you weren't there for Solomini, which is basically this here. Going back to the Solomini thing, I love this song because I hear Fire, Soul, Burn, Love. I heard it as so many different things when I first heard the song. Didn't know what it was. Have a listen to it again and see what you think it sounds like. I thought it was actually somewhat sensible, and I thought it was something like Fire, Soul, Burning Love. And now I keep hearing it as Fire, Soul, Body Love. Which brings to mind some really weird stuff. I'm getting into doji. Here's my favourite joke. The English and serious spellings in the background of certain things. And I think probably do this in just finish up because the next panel will come on. Opinion. Stratus no playmador sehansrite. Basically, I like taking apart Stratus playmodels. Yes, that's very much needed for an analysis of character. What I really like is the special ability. The actual name of the technique is Ruga Food Weekend, but the kanji for food, that's basically what replaces like is ha, he, hu, hey, ho, but there's no hu, it's just food. So it comes out as Ruga Hu Ken. So it's like Ruga Hu Ken now? This is no easy one. All these funny names. Son Goku, yes. Piccolo, Vegeta, Frieza, I like. And this is supposed to be Cell. It's Sal. Jinsoningen, that basically means like an android. I always translate it as man-made beings because it sort of makes it there was a big thing, like in the series he calls them, author Toriyama, he calls them Jinsoningen. But it's actually a misnomer. Jinsoningen is basically like an android and such. So it's like man-made, made to look like an android, basically means like looks human sort of thing. And the actual androids themselves aren't androids, they're mostly cyborgs. So Kaizo modified humans actually. Here's why I put this one in there. Because this is from the same episode. It immediately returns to this. So now Cell is spelled slightly more correctly. We still have Frieza, but I love this one. Henry. First off, his name is Henry, when he's supposed to be Harry. Artificial insemination. Organs, normal. Muscle, normal. Oh, these organs are perfectly fine. Normal here. Here's again from this episode. Mafina, civil navigation system, airline, transport, emergency, defense, and broken heart. I think she must be a fan of the Hart Dynasty, Bret Hart. Also weird age, 1718. This is fun. This is from Trigun. The whole series is supposed to take place on the planet that actually speaks all English. So we get the verdant. This is from Angelic Layer. I love Angelic Layer. It's such a nice series to put somebody into to sort of get them into anime, but the English is freaking hilarious. The rest time until end of the game, which is basically like the remaining time until Angel Ajukafi Condifium and yet Angel is spelled properly there. Never get it. Actually, Toei also sneaks in their fucking logo. So, we want you to know this is happening. This is from Welcome to the HK. This is spelled accurately, addressable. And now it's spelled one episode later. Address. No, personally got it out. Oh, this is Japanese not only content with English, they managed to make what I like to call French. This is supposed to be French, but if you know any French, the grammar is absolutely weird. It's like, to fight with me. Also, something princess important.
Very
I love you. Something to the end. I am the weight to the. It's just really. However,
It's from Japan.
However, yeah, well, Japan is basically for Japan. But not only that, they actually managed to fuck up their own language. Konosaki wa fiction desu no. This was years before Death Note. Jitsudai suru, jinbutsu danhensu. Some of these words do make sense, but not in that. This is One Piece, by the way. This I thought was my favourite until I came across the one that's next, which is the last one, and I've saved it best for last. This was from the Dirty Pair OVAs, Dirty Pair KU. And this was like one of their OVAs. And it stuff and cast. Obviously stuff and cast, but I just thought it was just really, we don't give a shit. It's just like, it's stuff and cast. The cast and stuff.
But the stuff is more important than the cast.
Here's the stuff.
Oh, there's some cast there too.
This I thought was going to be my best one until I came across this one. And Will, you know what I'm talking about. Salty Ray. I don't want to eat what's coming from that car. That sounds like a porn name.
I've seen it in rubbish.
This is Salty Ray. This is Salty Ray. So,
The best one.
It's just.
Oh, the
dog.
long
Just saw it. I was like on the last episode of the last disc. Like, and it's just hot dog. What?
There's the
I
best
had to
one.
double check. I was like, what?
I've seen one which was a mistake of election party they wanted to say.
I will say this one. There was like this one time. This was an actual real example. It was like some big Fukuoka or something. Some basically like Fukuoka, Fuku, and they put like the big Fuku cell, which is like the big fuck cell. I'm just gonna zip through these ones because I'm gonna end after this one because I just put this one on. But it's just one last game.
3, 2, 1.
Someone to buy from fans in the audience. This is guess the onomatopoeia. Okay, we don't have to do because I've got 3 of these on here. Somebody pick a number from 1 to 3.
2.
2. Okay. Good. It took me ages to get this right. But the first time I did it, it just basically all came up together. I was like, oh, don't ask all at once. Let's guess what Jiri Jiri is. People who actually know Japanese don't say it. Actually, tell me something more sad. Slow and steady. Yeah, just my phone going again. Just just saying that it's basically 15 minutes into a token down, so I wanted to make sure I was going to be finished. Booyah.
Kitty cat? What's people who to name it cats Buyo in Japanese anime a lot? So.
People know Digimon this one. Mera. There's a Digimon called Melamon, and everyone remembers what he is. Mera is basically like crackling fire. It's also in One Piece. There's a fruit called the Mera fruit. Crackle fruit. Everyone on time, sure. Fufu. Oh, it's that. Yeah, Gatson's like clunk. So. Actually, I think you know, because it's very close to what I actually wrote. Clunk. Iso. Oh, you just did it. Iso. Jean, I think.
Wind?
Rishi, this one took ages. It's actually a song. It's another Dragon Ball Z song. It's sort of like a relentless, it's a slog. Yeah, it's sort of like on the brink sort of thing. It's like, which is tick. Some of these I'm having to remember myself. I'm like, fuck, I haven't done this in years. Is this I'm going to read it? Oh, wait. Better. This is a pretty easy one. It's like the Pokemon Lickitung machines, sort of better Beaton, which is
Better. Like the tongue.
yeah, better. Actually, I want to do something very quickly actually just before I leave. People always get confused about what the sort of L and R thing in Japanese is. What I just want people to do is I've gotten used to sort of saying as bit, stuff like that. I want people to just sort of put their tongue just at the top of their mouth, just behind their front teeth. Like that. And try and say I just wanted to have some room of people doing that. I'm just a pervert. Ilkan, that's oh, that one. This is really easy. It's pissing. It's ring, ding dong.
Babies,
People always get that one. They always say it's like a big sound. Don, this is pretty staple in shonen. This is sort of Don. So like that. And Zulu. Oh yeah, this is actually true. Or at least from what I read. Yeah, so it's actually from what I've read, it's probably taking a picture. So it's actually supposed to be like somewhat mannerly to sort of slurp your arm. Actually, seeing as we've got someone who should probably know this a little bit better than me, is this actually true? That it's somewhat more mannerly to actually show appreciation by slurping your arm.
When you eat ramen, it's like good thing.
yeah, sort of a bit more manly, sort of showing that you appreciate the food. Sort of.
Why do they
Do a temperature.
Why do
It's give or take.
Is it like you show some tasting of people?
Currently the last one is what I'm doing. I'll skip this. I think this is the last topic, and I don't think I'll go through it because we're probably. I want to give the next panel some time to set up. So. I'm never one to pick the easy song. I go for the